Have you ever wondered if there's a real, tangible connection between your own consciousness and, well, everything else? We're going to dive into a framework that suggests there is, a kind of bridge between your inner world and the very fabric of the cosmos. So that really brings us to the big question, right? How could your own personal consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions, actually plug into the vast intelligence of the universe? Is there a genuine mechanism for this, or is it just some nice idea? Okay, so this whole concept starts by looking at reality as two distinct realms. On one hand, you've got your inner world, right? That's your personal consciousness. And on the other, you have what our source material calls the divine field, the fundamental energy of the entire universe. The whole point is to figure out how to build a bridge between the two. So, what in the world is this divine field? Well, think of it less like empty space and more like a living, intelligent ocean. The source describes it as the absolute foundation of reality, a field of pure energy, information, and even intention, from which literally everything we see and experience comes into being. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the big picture, a sort of cosmic map. Then we'll zoom right into our own personal energy system. After that, we get to the really good stuff. We'll find that all-important bridge, the fourth level gateway, and see how it works. And finally, we'll explore the incredible journey this connection opens up for us. All right, let's start with that cosmic map. In this view, the universe isn't just a random mess of stuff. It's actually a highly structured, multi-layered reality. It's got different planes of existence, all connected. And our first job is to understand where we fit into this grand design. Okay, so if that's the map, what's our vehicle for the journey? According to the source, each of us has our own personal ride, and it's called the human information field. You can think of it as your own multi-layered energy system, the very thing that filters and shapes how you experience reality. And this field, as you can see, is made up of 7 layers. You've got the 3 inner bodies, which are all about your internal world, your energy, your emotions, your thoughts. Then you've got the 3 outer will fields, which are about how you project your intent out into the world. But look right there in the middle, the most important piece of the puzzle, the 4th level reality. That's our bridge. And that brings us to the absolute heart of this entire system, the bridge itself. This 4th level gateway is described as the central interface, the one critical point where our personal energy field can directly plug into the universal divine field. You know, everything in this model really hinges on this one number, 4. It's not just another level. According to this framework, this is the operational center of our entire being. It's the precise point where our inner universe touches the outer cosmos. So let's get a really clear definition here. The 4th level reality is that meeting point between you and the universe. You can almost picture it as a kind of multidimensional control room, where your personal consciousness gets to plug directly into the cosmic internet of the divine fields. And get this, the source even calls it the hinge point of human evolution. The idea is that getting access to this level isn't just a cool personal experience, it's a huge leap forward for us as a species. The moment we stop just living in the universe and start waking up as a part of it. And what's so critical to understand is that this is not a one-way street. It's a dynamic, two-way current. You've got spiritual inspiration and information flowing down to you from the divine field. And at the same time, your own intentions, your creativity, your will, it all flows up and out into the universe. So, how do you actually use this interface? Are there rules? What are the mechanics? This next part is all about the rules of the road, breaking down how we can actually start to interact with this much deeper layer of reality. Well, first off, when you're operating at this 4th level, your senses begin to expand. We're talking about developing new ways of perceiving beyond just the 5 physical senses. You start to understand the world through symbols and images. You can literally feel energy fields and resonance. And you begin to see the universal patterns, the archetypes, that are shaping everything. And this whole interaction runs on 2 main principles. The first is the law of resonance, which is pretty simple. Like attracts like. Your inner vibe, your frequency, is going to pull in experiences that match it. And then there's the law of reflection, which means the universe around you basically becomes a mirror, showing you exactly what's going on inside you. In other words, your inner world creates your outer world. So what does all this add up to? It's a fundamental change in your role. When you engage with this interface, you're not just a passive observer anymore, just watching reality happen to you. You become an active collaborator, a co-creator in the grand unfolding story of existence. So if we can actually become co-creators, what's the end game? Where is all of this supposed to lead? Our final section looks at the much bigger picture, the grand evolutionary journey that this bridge is meant to unlock for all of us. You see, this framework presents our evolution as something far from random. It's a structured climb, a journey up through 7 distinct planes of reality. And every single step on this path takes us further away from a sense of being separate and isolated and closer to a state of profound unity. And this table here, it really lays out the entire roadmap. You can see how we're meant to evolve. We start down here on the physical plane, focused purely on survival. Then we move up through emotional self-awareness on the astral plane, then mental mastery, all the way to the top, to cosmic union, which is described as complete divine realization. It's really like a ladder of consciousness. But the most important point of this entire journey, the big takeaway, is this transformation. It's a shift from being a passive onlooker in what can sometimes feel like a cold, random universe, to becoming a conscious, active co-creator within a living, breathing, intelligent cosmos. So this entire framework is really a map for building a bridge from our everyday selves to the divine. And it really leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. What happens when you stop just visiting that bridge and you decide to make it your permanent home?